Gemini in the second house. So in this series, I'm bringing you guys the understanding of how the second house really works. And it has 3 layers to it. The first one is how you spend your money. The other one is actually how you make your money. And that has 2 layers to it, in which the first one is production and the second one is value. Check out the intro video because that really lays it all out. Okay, so if you've got Gemini in the second house, you like to spend money deeply connected to things that kind of stimulate your mind, get you to learn more things. You might spend money on things that will develop your skills, things that can help you organize your skills or enhance or sharpen your skills. And so, when it comes to money and understanding how money works, a lot of astrology, we don't really talk about that part, but in the ancients, money, fortune, and success was the main focus, especially as they moved it from just the natural observation of the stars into serving astrology for the royals. And so with Gemini in the second house, you have to understand that this is a space of production. And so your connection to spending and producing is key, okay? So the first thing is with spending, you have to have that mentality, especially with Gemini here, that money is easy to change, come in, and move, right? Because your Gemini energy is immutable. And so you have to be comfortable with that natural ability for money to change, move, and come in, flow, change it up in the sense that maybe sometimes you'll get a big amount, sometimes you'll get a little amount, and you just know it's always coming, it's always changing. Actually, I would say for every placement to know that money is always coming. It's a great belief to have. Now, when it comes to production is the key ingredient to understanding how money works in life, and especially in astrology. The second house is the house where you produce things. You take raw materials. So with Gemini, what are your raw materials? Well, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts are your raw materials. Your skills, what you already have, are raw materials. Gemini is also connected to media, bouncing off, reacting to media, like your reaction, your critique, it's not as much critique because like Virgo and Gemini are both like media due to Mercury, but it's like your reaction in the most like blind reaction, like your ability to just react to things. So a lot of people who have Gemini in the second house, they're making like, tons of money off of just being a reactor, somebody who has something to say about what's already out there. Okay. Also, your ability to write and communicate, and again, your thoughts, even though it's writing, it's your thoughts that are coming to the pen, your message. These are your raw materials. So what you want to think of is how to pull those things together to create production, raw materials, putting together to make something in the second house. So a lot of the things that you can consider is how is it that I can make maybe reading materials, writing materials, practice materials. I mean, I want you to think more. I want us to be a brainstorming session. So in the comments, you got Gemini in the second house, let's brainstorm together. What are those things that you could make? Notebooks, books, lyrics, poetry, writing, and make them into something that people would want to buy. The other thing is to consider that you could also teach skills or at least get people to enhance their skills based off of what you already have. So it's an interesting pattern. It's an interesting aesthetic because it's not quite teaching, but it's like peer to peer. Let's do this together kind of work. And with Gemini, it's also it's definitely about having platforms that can communicate a message. So definitely like, anything from YouTube, social media, any of those things, making money on the spot there. Like, I don't know why I thought about this, but like paid live readings, that could be for a few placements. But one of the reasons why paid live readings for like psychics, astrologers, tarot readers is so good is because Gemini in the second house is using a medium to get money, right? It's creating a production out of the media to get money. So there are various ways in which you can do this, but this is something I want you guys to try to apply. And check out the materials below when it comes to getting a deeper reading on the second house for you. I also want to talk about your value, what it is that value means, okay? And values is about being equal and powered too. And Gemini quite often has a little bit of a, you know, an envious quality to it. We all got shadows. Gemini is definitely envy. Okay, so how you really can thwart off the envy is to think of yourself as whatever it is that you're envious of or you feel is like competitive. It may not be competitive, it's like something else. It's just that feeling, you know. Check out my 7 Sins video because I talk about envy in that video. To tell yourself that you are equal and power to that thing. I think that's going to really help you here. Now, the second, I really wanted to stress that the second house is production and creating your own products. Okay, that's the key. But everybody, you know, needs to get a job sometimes, and sometimes people cut your check. So we'll talk about that because that is important, and that does happen. But why do people value you if you're going into an interview? Like, by the way, like interview resume materials, that also is so Gemini energy, like creating products to help people ace their interviews, to write their best resumes, like, you know, like it could go on and on and on. Anything that has to do with writing, put it down here and let's help each other make products, okay? Okay, so people value you because you're an excellent communicator, you're good with words, you're charismatic, you know what I'm saying? So when you go on an interview and they hire you, it's probably because of that. You may think that it's other things, but it's probably because of what you said and how you said it. And you know, it doesn't always have to be eloquent speech, you know, depending on what planet's there. Sometimes it's more sometimes it's eloquent speech, you know, just being very charming with your speech. But sometimes it's just because you can emulate the speech that someone else is around, so you're really good at that, and that's why people will value you. So let's say that you're in an atmosphere or a job space where people are actually more casual. They're using slang. They know how to, they have a little, like, you know, twang to the way that they speak. Gemini is the mimicker. So in the second house, they'll value you because Gemini also being adaptable, mutable, you can adapt to the communicative aesthetic of the space that you're in, and people will really value that about you. Okay, you guys, so if you guys really love the second house series, hit me a thumbs up and a subscribe. I love making these mini videos because nobody has a great attention span. I surely don't. And, you know, it's about keeping things simple, not making them too complex. The more simple, the easier it is to apply, because I call this channel Eye of the Crown because of the way that we see astrology. We're taking it back to the nature of the way that the ancients did it. But I also, my Etsy store is called Astrology in Action, because I want to break it down so simple so that we can put these concepts into action, experiment with them, and see, you know, come bring it back to the table and see what works. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love.